it was like a really, like I say, pivotal moment, really, where we had these 4 songs, and there was obviously, like I said, Jay said, Connor had left the band, George had left the band, and we all sat down and sort of like the remaining members of the band and sort of said, look, is this still something that everyone wants to do? Because it's like we can't really be, you know, chopping and changing. You know, hindsight, hilarious, but like, I can't be chopping and changing sort of too much with this stuff. Like, if we're doing it, we're doing it. You know, we're at that point now, and yeah, everyone was like, yeah, no, we definitely still want to do it. And there was like, we'd had these 4 songs, and we had 4 songs recorded, and then I remember being at home, and I sent demos for Bare Bones and Low at the same time to everyone else, and just sort of said, look, I don't know what you guys think of this, but here's kind of an idea that I've had. And I remember Bare Bones being the one where I was like, oh yeah, I'm not vibing this, and Jay like messaged me straight back and was like, you've got something here. And I was like, oh really? Because I thought it was shit. So it's like, yeah, so it's like, oh okay. I was like, no, it's definitely all about the other one, man. And he was like, no, seriously, there's something in this. So we then went with Louis, and obviously Stuart had joined the band by that point as well, and we spent like a weekend with like the 5 of us together, which was something we'd never done previously. Like, Louis hadn't been in the band that long at this point, and we essentially like fully demoed those 2 songs, and it really kind of felt like a really collaborative moment. The middle 8 hadn't really been properly written, and we kind of did that together. And then Sam had the idea of speaking to Connor, because obviously he's our boy, so like we spoke to him about jumping on the track, and it just sort of really, it was very organic and just exciting again, you know. Like, when the band, we'd had so much shit with the band and what was happening, it was kind of like, this is the sort of kick up the arse almost that we needed, and the sort of like, you know, vibe of being able to sort of pull all this stuff together, and it's going to be all right, guys, you know, like we're gonna get through this. And yeah, and obviously that's kind of when we were sequencing the record, that was kind of why we thought, you know, Bare Bones needs to go at the front, really. And then from there, obviously, we sort of, Stuart had the guitar idea with the prelude for Ashes, and the rest of it's kind of history, really. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Awesome.
Very well.
Shout out to Stuart Mercer in the chat.
Thank you for the headphones.
Go, Stuart!
I love.
I could have done it without him.
I love those red headphones. I mean, white head. Right, so to all the chat, we'll get in. We'll play Ashes and Bare Bones now. The boys have so beautifully illustrated those tracks. Any questions for the boys? Get them in the chat as we go, and I'll obviously ask them after each end of the track. This is Ashes and Bare Bones. Steel Series all the way, baby. Yes. Here we go. Welcome to the City Is Ours Load Deep Dive.
Edgy.
You boys.
Get the fuck up.
Cause all I know is this time I'm not
Is it healthy to vibe to your own band? This stuff?
Absolutely. It is when it's this good.
I'm just like,
It is when you've had a beer, Mikey, for sure.
let's go, boys!
Don't waste your time thinking now. If this is something you can truly believe in.
Ooh, it's a spicy little number.
Spicy with the ball.
Shout out Connor from our Hello Our Home.
This is all I'll ever need.
The boy.
That's so weird.
This is all I'll ever be.
That's the
Fuck, man.
synergy you boys have.
We're in sync, man.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Well, it hurts me to know you won't be standing with me. So take it back. 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 Take it back, take it back to the start of it all. Take it back, take it back, get in your car. Take it back to the end of the world. Knowing nothing but bare bones. Take it back to the start of it all. Take it back, get in your car.
Okay.
Take it back to the end of the
Oh, fuck Pete, man.
world. Knowing nothing but bare
Thank you. I'm gonna do that after every song, by the way.
You can
just
do
so you
that.
know.
As if we're playing it live.
It's been so long since I played a gig. I can't help it.
Brad asked, wasn't the first time you played this live in Southampton? I remember hearing it as an unreleased track.
Pretty sure, yeah. At Joiners, maybe?
I think it was Joiners. I think you're correct.
Yeah.
I think it was the first night of the. It was on the Imim tour for Hollow, wasn't it? I believe.
Potentially.
Meant to be. Here's a little spoiler. Someone said about us not, putting it all on the table. I'll put this on the table. We were actually supposed to release that song before we went on that tour,
Oh, yeah, we were.
and it all got canned right at the last minute because we were working on some deals for different things. So yeah, we were literally meant to release it. So it was already in the set, and then we had the conversation about whether or not we take it out of the set, and we decided against taking it out of the set. So yeah, we did play it on that tour before it was released. So yeah, if you were there, thanks for coming down and checking it out. But you're a very lucky group of people that actually got to hear that song before anyone else. So there you go. Feels like a lifetime ago now.
Doesn't it just? Up next we have the wonderful Casket. Another spicy meatball.
Oh, mate, it's all the meatballs tonight, baby. All the meatballs tonight.
There's going to be...
What do we say about Casket, Jay?
So, yeah, Casket's a bit of a weird one because some of the songs, like as Mikey said, like he'll send a demo over or someone will send something over and it's just like naturally everything clicks. It's either really collaborative and we get it done. But Casket it came about really weird. It was originally a demo for another song, and then like Mikey tore it apart, put some screams on it as well, and it didn't really have a great chorus. We were still working on things, but it had like loads of potential, and I think I can't even. It might have even been called Ashes or something to begin with. Like it had something like the When Will You Understand? When Will You Grasp It? That was totally different, but it had the same sort of melodic vibe. And Sam, like obviously, I'm sure he won't mind me talking about it, has had some quite bad mental health issues, and so have I. So have a lot of us in the band. But me and Sam sat down, and we often worked on like his side of the lyrics together. And we sat down, and he decided that he wanted to write it about some mental health issues, and it was sort of like showing what you're going through, and like although like it's almost like been ashamed in the past of what we've got, the experiences with depression, anxiety, even like going to doctors and sort of trying to figure it out. It's sort of like it just all came out from me and him, and Mikey had different bits in it, and it just like I think once it was out on the table, although I think it was quite we were quite nervous about writing a song like that because we've written bits about that, but nothing. That was the first one where we'd really like worn our hearts on the sleeves with sort of mental health issues. It was nervous but really freeing when we'd got it out, and I think Sam would agree with me if he was here talking about it too.
100%. Mikey, have you got anything to add, Squire?
I think it was just like my experience of that song was it was just like the like Frankenstein equivalent of like any tune really, because we just finished the Hollow Hope EP, and like I said before, this was one of the first 4 songs that we had for the new whatever new city was going to be at the time. And it was like the chorus that ended up getting used was originally for another demo for a song that got like never got finished or unused or became something else. And like the riffs and stuff, I think riff wise and like instrumentally it was kind of relatively straightforward, and it was kind of different because the chorus doesn't come in until so much later, but then you've got this repetitive scream vocal and stuff, and getting that scream vocal right.
My name is Terrence.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Unfortunately, just something I tried a bunch of different things and it just wasn't working for me. Like, and I can't remember what the various incarnations of it were, but
it was a whole night, wasn't it? We spent like a whole night just going through different things, hours and hours. We just could not get it.
Yeah, and we walked away from it for a little while, and then we came. I remember Jay just sent me he spent some time with Sam and just sent a link through, and it just had this version of the tune, and obviously instrumentally, like I said, it was pretty much kind of where it was the whole time. And then it's literally like I pressed play, and it was that whole kind of what you hear now. And Sam just kind of doing that, and straight away it was just like I just got goosebumps, just like fuck yeah, it's so open and so raw. And it really sort of started to shape how the rest of this kind of obviously what would turn out to be the album kind of from that moment really, and really sort of gave us a sort of a starting point almost to kind of go, right, this is how, this is the vibe and this is what we're doing. And, we've always written about things that happen to us, and it was just really nice for everyone to be sort of staying true to that and just going ahead with it. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a fun one live. We played this one about 2 days after it came out at a headline show, and it was still one of my favorite reactions to a gig we've ever had, because it was it was in London, and it just like hometown. It's the first time we ever sold out a hometown show in advance, so it was like already gassed about it, and we played this song thinking no one would know anything about it really, and then
it's just like immediately catchy, isn't it? It's like it's got that hook instantly. Would you say like Casket was like the catalyst for starting the journey onto it becoming low? Would you say it was? I think Jay's right in saying that like we've always kind of we've all had our own problems, and we will continue to have our own problems, and we've always been a very open band about writing about that. Like that's something that's we're not very good at, just kind of going, oh, this is a song about beans on toast, which some people are great at, where they'll just pick a topic, obviously probably more exciting than that, but they'll pick a topic and just be able to write a song about that. That's not really something we've ever been able to connect with. But I think we were always a little bit frightened of kind of really sort of wearing our hearts on our sleeves and going, look, we're going all in. We're going to talk about the vulnerabilities that we have. We're going to talk about the angst and the anxiety and the anger and all of the different feelings we were feeling at the time for a number of different reasons. And Casket was really that kind of like, because it's got that kind of angry vibe and it's got that sort of edge and, that real kind of, it's a sad song, but wrapped up in kind of energy and everything else. It was kind of like, yeah, I think we're comfortable now doing this, and it really gave us the kind of pathway to then push on and be like, yeah, we're going to go and continue writing songs in this vein, if you'll pardon the pun. I like it.
I guess.
KB Demon and Snooze Mew, thank you very much for the follows. I very much appreciate it. Ryan has asked if you still have them in the vault, and I know it would be kind of irrelevant at this point, but would you ever drop a demo of EP or old tracks, or even with new bits with Ollie?
They're probably somewhere still in the vault, tucked very far away,
cemented somewhere.
They're cast away with all the versions of songs that have got me screaming on them. Like they're on another planet somewhere, because no motherfucker needs to hear that, like, ever. Like it's I'm very grateful for all the lovely positive comments in the chat about my vocals and what you're hearing on the record, and I'd like to keep it that way. So I don't really want to start dropping anything like that where I've demoed stuff in the past, because it's not my finest hour, shall we say. So
That's
maybe one day. I mean,
I'll
I've got
say
a couple
one way.
more beers here, so I'm to see how
I
pissed
think-
I get.
I think for now we're looking forward to the future and seeing what happens, rather than obviously. I think it would be more likely if Sam was still in the band, but obviously we got to look forward and we got to take it all the way with OD.
SJS Photography says my brother still hasn't stopped listening to Violent.
What a dude!
Your brother is a smart boy. So it's time.
Kid's got
everyone.
brains.
It's casket time. Get your questions in the chat.
Confetti cannon. Hey, Jay, you're teasing in the comments, man. I'm not. Like, circle pit in your front room, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Spin it.
The biggest tease. Yes, dude. Thank you.
Thank me for
Yes,
one night
dude.
only. Mikey's
Yes,
vocals
dude.
for episode 2. There's a lot of love for Mikey's vocals, rightly so. He is the vocal Jesus.
He's a great dude, man.
So-
Heard good things.
I have as well. Self-proclaimed as well.
Yeah, modest as well.
Very. So, up next, you made a little excellent joke, should I say, into Veins earlier.
Oh.
That's where we're at.
Oh, goodness me. What do we say about Veins?
I think I'll let you talk mainly about Veins, but all I'll say is we had Veins demoed along the same sort of time as the Hollow Hope EP, so we already had that track when we were going in to record.
I'm
Hollow Hope.
I'm just gonna correct you quickly because I think
Oh, was it just at the end of?
what
we
we're
had
saying
it
is
before.
we'd recorded the Hollow Hope EP and it was ready to go, but it hadn't been released yet. And because it was the same day we saw the video for Can't Forgive for the first time.
No.
And Jay was convinced that Veins was a better song and was like trying to make plans about putting it on the first EP. So I'm quite glad. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Second EP.
Second EP. Sorry. But yeah, no, it was the first one written. So he's definitely right about that. But it's
I think, I was just going to say, in hindsight, like the fact we didn't put that on, I think it was really helpful for all of us because I think we always come away from an EP or an album and we're almost like super stressed about the next thing. I don't know. I'm sure you agree, Mikey. I know we've had many conversations, and I think I was so in love with Veins. I was so impatient to get it released. Like I wanted it out as soon as possible, so that I knew when it came to that album that we had this track that I was like super happy with and super proud with. And I think that really helped in hindsight, like the stress and the anxiety about Low.
I would completely agree. I mean, technically speaking, like Veins was kind of I don't know for any OGs in the chat. We got a song called "The Life in You," which is one of the first songs we ever wrote as a group, and Veins is kind of like a response to that track. And it's never something we really kind of made a big deal of, but it's because obviously making a response to your own.
There's a throwback line is in the song, isn't there? Lyrical, that people would pick up on. But that's the first time I thought my boys are wordsmiths. I heard that and I appreciated that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like it's one of those things where we'd both kind of in various different ways and in with different intensities experienced kind of like loss of people very, very close to us. And it was one of those things where sort of like when I was writing the lyrics for Veins, it was or at least initially, I was sort of thinking very much about that track because obviously that track is very obviously about that. But it was kind of like, well, what about how the other person is feeling, and obviously the big C word and not my favorite one, there's themes of like cancer and stuff like that. And, all the fun stuff that we get to talk about on a Friday night. But like, that's where the idea for like, it runs in my veins comes from is it's kind of like, well, I'm trying to do everything I can for you right now to make sure that, as and when, if I'm taken away, you're going to be all right. Because there's this whole thing about us thinking about it from like our own point of view almost, and thinking about how it affects us and how sad we got about it, or how upsetting and traumatic and all of these things it is and continues to be for us. But it's just I just kind of got fixated on this idea of like, well, but how if we feel like that, then how the fuck must they feel, and I was sort of trying to put myself in those shoes and sort of and sort of embody like how I imagined that would be. And it's not something I think you can ever kind of imagine until it's happening to you, I guess. And it's it's a horrible thing to have to kind of deal with, but we just wanted to try and make sure that we sort of paid homage to it. And that is why we kind of nodded back to The Life in You, because it is very much a case of sort of that song's about how we were feeling about it, and Veins is very much a kind of flipped reversal kind of response of, well, this is actually how I feel about it. And weirdly, there is some kind of positive vibes in there as well, which is kind of, overall it's still very much in the welcome to the sad boys club, but there is a few bits in there about kind of that feeling of it will be all right and there will be something else and life will continue, like when as and when anything like that does happen. But it's sort of trying to sort of understand the viewpoint of other people, which I think was something we'd always been quite wrapped up in our own emotions, so to be thinking about it from that other sort of view and point of view was it was an interesting place to come at with writing.
Yeah, I think on like a personal point for me, I think I've always held Veins in such a high regard for you boys, and I think it is one of your best journeys in like songwriting. For me, this is god tier. City is Ours for me. This is this is the shit when the lyrics hit and it like it Sweet Chin Music's you over the rope to win the Royal Rumble. It's that kind of shit. Sorry, Mikey. Get that beer down, your son.
By God! By God, King!
By God, it's Veins! It is Veins. Here we go.
Oh, man.
Mr. Beasley.
I always feel awkward listening to our music now. Just like I don't want to be too into it. I don't want to be not into it enough.
Mate, you're in the right frame. Be proud of your incredible music.
And I'll never see it go. No matter how I fight tight, we'll never have the strength to place it under my control. There's a fire in my heart, it's burning through my soul. Burning through my soul. There's a fear inside me, I can never know.
Sorry for just pausing for one sec, but I think this is a great time to throw back to when we deep dive the whole of our Hollow Our Homes back catalogue with Toby. It was about 5 hours. It was very tiring.
It was long.
Oh, was it?
But as you boys are very much aware with their music, there's a lot of sad boy songs.
Yeah.
Toby invented Team Strong Sausage. Basically, we have got to be a strong sausage. I mean, yeah, without context, that sounds weird, doesn't it? But yeah, with
Love a strong sausage, me boy. Love a strong sausage.
All I was going to say, I know you do, mate. Same. All I was going to allude to is that this album is very Team Sad Boy in some. So we might we might have to bring back Team Strong Sausage. So if you're struggling,
it's only down from here, guys. It only gets down from here. It's all downhill. We've had the happy songs, if you can call them that.
Yeah, song about mental health and wanting to fucking kill yourself. We've had the happy songs, guys. Let's strap yourselves in, motherfuckers.
There's a lot in me that I thought would never end. You'll be my legacy, so live for me and light me up, my friend. It burns in my heart.
Bad Boys Club.
Team Weak Weenie. What?
Oh man, weak weenie. Yes.
It's more a bit of us, to be fair.
All hail the sausage, Kev, indeed. All hail that sausage.
It's in my
Mate, I totally forgot that fucking outro was on
exactly. I listened to this earlier. I listened to this earlier today, just to sort of, because I haven't listened to the album for ages, and that came on, and I was like, "What is it on repeat for? What's going?"
You know what? I've listened to this album 1,000 times, and I forgot that.
That's
I don't
funny,
think
man.
it was on the single version. That's why.
No, it wasn't on the single version. It's only on the album version. But I'd
My
forgotten all
name
about
is
that. So there you go,
Terence
guys. There you
Hampshire.
go, gang.
Yeet Jackie T, thank you so much for the follow, mate. Thank you very much. Keep hitting
Yeah, just,
follow if you're not, fellas.
Real talk. Follow Jonny, or
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna set fucking Ludog on you, and no one wants that.
Nobody
Or
wants
unleash
that.
the beast.
Please no.
So,
Please no.
we were talking about hashtag Wheat Weenie Strong Sausage. We got onto a song that makes me want to... Every time, it is such an incredibly powerful song. Up next is Now That You're Gone.
Just before you say that, Stu said in the chat that it fucked with him too, so we're not alone. The
Alright.
end intervenes, that is.
It's funny, like we all looked up at each other like...
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I'm not even sure how that got there.
I'm not
to be
even in a
honest.
band and I don't remember that. Amazing.
Oh man, well here we come with the heavy shit. So let's.
Here we go.
I
boys.
don't mean in a
Strap
good
in.
way. Oh, so you want me to talk about Now That You're Gone now, Jonny? Don't you really?
I do, mate. I'm sorry about that, but you know,
No, that's all
we're,
right.
all, we're all together. We're all being a strong
Just for
sausage.
you, man. Just for you. I mean, I've had a beer and a half now, so I might cry. But
It's fair.
yeah, I mean,
we can do
now
that.
that you're Now That You're Gone was like essentially was the first song that we wrote for the album. And I say essentially because like it had been on the shelf pretty much as long as City had been a band. Like we'd done two EPs, and it was kind of, it just never quite felt right, and it never quite felt finished. And essentially it was a song that I started writing about an incident that happened where so in a lot of the themes, Jay and I were going through kind of similar things, obviously not directly comparable, but similar things with people in our lives. And we both lost somebody to cancer, and I was actually at a show with a previous band, and we got a phone call basically to say that person had died basically while I was away. So we literally had to we got in the car and we drove home sort of that night, and it was quite a long drive, so there was lots of literally imagine the band that were playing after us watching us loading out our gear frantically with people crying and all sorts of mad shit like that. That must have been pretty fucking hectic for them, because they obviously didn't know what was going on. So I don't know who they were, but if you're out there, big ups to those guys, because that must have been pretty rough for you too. But yeah, we essentially, this song is basically written about my journey home in the car, and just sort of what was going through my mind. We sort of sat in the car for I don't know, it was 2.5 hours, and just drove home and basically in complete silence. No one really said anything the whole way, and this is kind of my account almost of what was going on in my head and what I was thinking about at that particular time. And obviously there's a few references to headlights and stuff like that, because all of that stuff was kind of what was happening around me. And ironically, it was actually the day before my 21st birthday as well. So it was everyone who's out there having sick 21sts, not me, bro, not me. But yeah, it was just a strange situation really, where we I think we'd had sort of the first verse chorus situation was pretty much done, and then it didn't really kind of click any further than that, and that's why it didn't kind of really come back out until Now That You're Gone. Because once we started exploring those themes again, it kind of all sort of went, okay, this is something we've got to kind of, I'm going to have to deal with, as I personally have to deal with. So that middle bridge bit, which is all sort of my vocal, it was very much a case of I just kind of set up a microphone and just sort of started just saying how I felt, and it sort of came out in one kind of string almost of just kind of words and feelings and everything else, and obviously sort of played with it and figured it out from there. But that's why it's got that kind of phrasing where it just kind of doesn't really stop, because that's kind of how I was just sort of stood in front of the mic with my headphones on, just sort of like rah, 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 and this is why I'm angry about it, and this is why I'm sad about it, and and it just rhythmically just ended up like that. So yeah, I mean, it's from I think there's probably 2 tracks on the record, because I think essentially this was my sort of version of saying goodbye almost, in a way, and then I think there's one on the album as well, which, you know, certainly in my view and from what I know him as, is probably your version, Jay, of the same sort of thing. So yeah, it's a tough one, and obviously lyrically is fairly obvious in a lot of places. It wasn't something we really kind of, we weren't too metaphorical about or anything. It's just how we felt. But yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea of what it was about, and hopefully, gives you guys you're able to relate to it if you've unfortunately been through similar sort of things. Maybe find some solace in it, I guess.
Can we get a massive amount of love for both of these boys for being so open and just discussing their beautiful music like they do? This is Now That You're Gone, Team Strong Sausage.
Team Strong Sausage.
Did you ever pause to contemplate the empty space you'd leave inside my heart? Did you think about the tears I'd cry and how we're supposed to live our lives apart? Would you run away from the darkness and run? Now that you're gone, the only sound, if only I turn around and come home. Tears caught amongst the lights, the longest journey of my life. I will never travel this road again. Away from the darkness and run back into my now that you're gone.
Oof.
Wasabi piece. There you go, guys. So
I mean,
yeah, happy song.
No, but I think this, for me, this is what music's about. Like, it's great to have songs that make you happy and upbeat, but I think music's just as important when you can get out those feelings of, you know, such emotion and heartache and stuff. I think, well, it allowed you to wear your heart on your sleeve, and I applaud you, boys. It's absolutely phenomenal piece of music.
Thank you, man.
Yes.
It means a lot.
So we're on title track time. So a little bit I'd like to go in.
Oh yeah.
Did you know from the start that the album was going to be low? And if so, did you always know like this was the title track?
No, in a word.
Love it.
I mean, like I said before, the sort of pivotal point I think for me, and I'm sure Jay would probably agree, was essentially we wrote the album in 3 sections.
Yeah.
Basically, so we wrote and recorded the album in 3 sections as well. So we'd done the first 4 songs, didn't really know what we were doing with them. Were they just going to be singles? Were they going to be an EP? Were they going to be an album? Obviously, we'd never done an album at that point, so it was like, you know, how are we going to play this out? And then obviously Connor left the band, and that was massive for me because, like, you know, Connor's essentially my best mate. We've been best friends since we were like, I was 12, I think. So like I'd never been in a band with anybody else at that point either. So it was like Connor and I had always been kind of in the same bands together, and then there was other people surrounding us. So it was the first time where he decided to do what he was doing, and I was kind of left to sort of, you know, do whatever it was that was going to become the next phase of City, I guess. Obviously with the rest of the guys. And like this was kind of one of the 2 songs with Bare Bones that were like written at the same time. I think I sent the demos over on the same day. Like it was very it was a very sort of like organic thing, and we spent a weekend together, and it was like, yeah, we're definitely going to be sort of okay. And yeah, eventually deciding that the album was going to be called Low was actually done like after we'd written the whole thing. Like it was very much a case of looking at the songs overall and looking at what the ideas were, and there was a few different lines from different songs that we toyed with, and sort of looked at maybe trying. I think if we're deep diving, I think that we were almost called the record The Pieces in Between at one point, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah.
Which is one of the lines from Low.
Yeah.
And it was actually Louis that turned around and said, I think we should call it Low. Like it's everything just kind of, all of the themes throughout the whole record have that one underlying thing, which is essentially that we are all feeling
low,
particularly low about those things. So it just seemed like a nice way to sort of go, let's not over egg it, let's not overcomplicate it, let's just make the record what it is. It's an account of how we're feeling, and we've had some shit going on, and we've written a record about it, and let's do that. So that was kind of how the album side of things came about. I think for me, Low was one of the songs where, I don't know, Jay, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but like in terms of like written, I'm talking like chords and lyrics essentially. Like, obviously the guitar parts and the drum parts and all of those things are always kind of, Stu brings his own flavor, Louis brings his own flavor, and same with Jay and everything else. But like, I was having a really tough time, like sort of processing everything that was happening, and I was feeling very overwhelmed about trying to be the guy that had to sort of like, in my own mind, had to be the guy that sort of kept holding this stuff together. And Connor had left. What were we going to do? And I remember speaking to Ian, our tour manager, and was just kind of like, I don't know what to do anymore, man. Like, I can't process this. I can't get my head around it. And he literally just said to me, he was like, just go away and just write everything down. And pretty much the next day I sent the demo for this song through. It was just a crying out of going, look, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how to deal with it, but somehow between us, like, we've got to be able to try and figure something out. And the whole idea of sort of being able to see the forest for the trees and all that sort of stuff, it's all very much just how I was feeling at the time. And I just essentially wrote like like when you're doing your GCSE history at school and you do all the mind maps of all the different shit and all of the various people that Henry VIII was banging and stuff, like
Nice.
It was like that.
This really is a deep dive.
Yeah, but like it was literally, it was like that. I mean, just wrote everything down about how I was feeling, and once I got it on paper, it just came together so quickly. And then, yeah, we went in and we demoed both songs at the same time, and I think it was at that point where we were like, okay, we're onto it. You know, we're going to write an album, and that's what we're going to do. So it's kind of poignant now, I guess, that it kind of came back that Low eventually transpired to be the pivotal point and the reason that the album ended up being called that.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I don't think it really changed much from Mikey's demo either. I think we got it through, and it was just like perfect. Maybe a few tweaks here and there. The one big change was Stu's little Dance Gavin Dance riff in the breaks, which is
nothing gets me going at a city gig when the little extended drum intro with the widdly woo riffs. Oh
yeah, just a little thing for Stu. When we play this live, Stu's always said that he wants people to sing that back. I don't know how you do it, but if you're at a city gig and we play Low, you've got to try and sing his little twiddly guitar bit back. I think that would make his laugh.
Exactly like that.
There you go.
But yeah, everything Mikey said is correct. It's definitely not my favourite song on the album, but I think it encapsulates the whole thing. So I think even though it's not, like, in my opinion, the best song or the most catchy one, I think it's the perfect one to sort of sum up everything on it. How we're feeling.
I completely agree. Shout out to Mike from Lestel that's in the chat that says I do that every time. That's
right.
Right, everyone, there is 30 plus people in the stream. It's time for Low. If everyone at home's not going...
Oh yeah, you've all got to sing. And we're going to do it on the stream as well.
Jonny is a TCIO instrument confirmed. Absolutely, since day one.
It's going on the backing track. Let's go.
Here we go.
Ready. Everyone get ready.
It's time. All 35.
To the inside of my head, I get a little more restless. My greatest weakness is myself. Now I'm a little more. All the pain, I'll lament the feeling of regret. Try to open my mind.
I will also say, like, props to Sam, because when we went to him and when we were like, Sam, we want you to do clean vocals on this song, he was like, what the fuck do you mean you want me to do clean vocals?
I do remember when I remember because I got this song a couple of days early to write a review when I wrote there, and I wrote all that, and Sam messaged me saying, I absolutely love how you put about Mikey's gravelly voice at the start, but that's actually me. And I'm like,
yeah, I think
shit.
We tried, like, because we always before we go and record, we'll do like some sort of pre-production, and from memory, like, we had those parts. I think Mikey had written those parts in the demo anyway, and we probably just ironed them out together. But I remember Sam coming in and us trying different things. We tried screams. We tried, like, more of his own sort of screams, and it just nothing was working. And then we said about him doing the singing, and to be fair to him, he smashed it. It sounds so good.
I remember, obviously, at the release night of Low as well, when you did your little, like, acoustic part of the time, and when Sam was singing, I just remember all of us, like, looking at each other and nodding, going, yeah, the boy's got it. Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
It was cool. I'm sorry for, like, just diving back in there. So,
mate, that is
please
what we
carry
do.
on. But...
That is what we do. Here we go.
Big up, Sam.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Stolliday, absolute god on earth.
Did from myself.
Sing along.
Where do I turn? Where do I go? 'Cause I'm dying inside and I've never been so hurt, so cold, falling apart now. I've never been so low.
I missed it. So
With my thoughts and nothing else, I get a little more breathless. I'm second guessing all I've left.
damn it!
Oh, missed it.
Yes!
We've all missed one.
We've all got to get it for the end, though.
Yeah.
All got to get it for the end.
Come
All
on.
together now.
Get our asses in gear.
Thank you.
That was absolutely amazing.
Oi.
Stu's dreams have come true. I can feel his erection from here.
Here goes Stu. It's first time on that tour, mate, when we're all back together. Just you wait till the whole of Key comes going. Amazing. I love that song.
Mate. Thanks, man.
I've reached the peak, says Stu Mercer. Mike from the Cell says Mikey's the best singer in the scene. Hard agree, sir. You're not so bad yourself, though. To be fair,
I was going to say Mike's. I think it's just something about Mike's, to be honest, because I actually think they're Stella the best band in the world. So, and I've told him that to his face on multiple occasions. So maybe he and I just need to get it over with and fuck.
I mean, if
It got weird, didn't it?
No, if it
Two
goes on,
beers.
if
2 beers. It got
if
weird,
it
didn't it?
goes
I've
on
done it, yeah.
OnlyFans, I'm purchasing. Just saying. Another thing about Mike, I remember on that tour, when they played Bluebells and watch him hit that drum intro and belt that out instantly, and it's like, he's a cyborg.
Stop it. Stop that filth now, Johnny.
He's a cyborg, isn't he? Right.
It's just
He is.
Don't wait for me, boys.
Oh,
Right.
we won't. No worries, man.
All right. See
Where
you
you
later,
going?
lads. Thanks, everyone.
What's wrong? I know. Whooshoo, totally over my head. I was just like,
It took me 0.5, but it was excellent.
Yeah, so I think "Don't Wait for Me" was written sort of not like right at the end, but sort of coming towards the end of the record. We knew we were doing an album at this point. We were looking for other songs, and if I remember rightly, we were going through Mikey's computer and looking at sort of old demos, and he had this one, and it was just sort of like I think it might have had an intro and a chorus. And it just had that real catchy "Don't Wait for Me" chorus as you hear it now, without the screams. To be fair, it just had the singing bit of "Don't Wait for Me," and I heard it and was just like instantly. I was like, "There's some demos that Mikey does, and it's a grower for me, but like the ones that like catch me instantly, I always know are gonna like be the ones that like basically catch everyone else." And that was one that just straight away, the second I heard it, I was like, yeah, we got to use that. Have to use it. And then, like, I think, like, I went away and wrote a lot of lyrics for this one. And a lot of it is about sort of... we've spoke about it before, and obviously we're all being open here. I've had a lot of bad mental health problems, a lot of anxiety, suffered some really bad episodes of depression, and see a therapist basically on a regular basis. And this sort of song was it's sort of about me sitting down with my therapist and sort of seeing old relationships and sort of coming to this place where I'm recognizing toxic relationships I've had in my life with different people, and how subconsciously they've led to this anxiety, this depression over time. Stuff that even from a kid, things that happened to me years and years ago, and how they've led to this point in time. And it's really about that, and it's really the "Don't Wait for Me." Although it was written before all those lyrics, to me it was almost like saying, "Don't wait for me to get better. You can't wait. These things are going to take time. This is all happening. I'm recognizing all this. We just got to keep going."
Hell yeah, brother. Amazing words, and again, shout out to you for coming on here and wearing your heart on your sleeve with such... I mean, I don't think there's... I relate to it. It's... Mental health is, I think, the biggest problem on earth at the moment, and I think what we've all gone through the last year is just going to further, impact on everybody's. So yeah, I get it, and I completely buy into the lyrics that you've written. So here we go.
Yeah, man. And I think moreover, like a message is like, just think about what you say to people. Think about how you act, because there's so many like insignificant things that have happened to me over the years that like other people wouldn't think about twice about. Someone said something to me,
massively.
and you never know how it's going to affect people. And this is sort of another point to this song. It's addressing this toxic behaviour and these toxic relationships and things that have happened that probably these people don't even think about anymore. So it's just be kind. Everyone be kind to each other. Everyone's got some shit going on. And that's basically what this is all about.
Words to live by. And just before I press play, this has one of my favourite Sam vocals, that making me feel so damn small thing. That part always gets me at the end of the...
Yeah.
Banging. Absolutely banging. This is Don't Wait For Me. This is Bop Central. Let's go.
Jump up and down, motherfuckers. Let's do it.
I'll tell you what. Try get in this, if you can.
How fucking good is Stuart Mercer, by the way? Like, Jesus Christ.
Absolute goal.
Wow.
I carried the burden, it weighed down my skin, like I'm covered in armor, I will never fit in.
It's my favourite drums on the whole album, right here.
Sensational drums.
Oh mate, yeah.
Shout out to Lou.
So clever, so clever.
Go on, Sam.
Yeah, boy. This was one of his best, for sure.
Peak Holiday right there, man.
Makes me want to swanton bomb this song live.
Mate. Little fun fact about that as well. I remember we had the chorus, as Jay said, with the "Don't Wait For Me" clean bits, which is essentially the same 4 words over and over again. And then there was this big gap in the middle, and I was like, I don't know what to put here. And Jay came back and was just like, oh yeah, we've worked on some shit. And I was like, well, what are the lyrics? I was like, what are the lyrics? And he was like, "Don't wait for me." And I was like, this is going to be fucking turd. And then I listened to it and was like, I don't really know how we've written an entire chorus by not moving any further than 4 words. But I I mean, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. So props to you,
Yeah,
Jay.
for
Props
sure.
to Sam, because I was a bit like, when you were like, oh, it's just the same thing, man. I was like, oh, that's gonna sound awful. And I was very, very wrong about that. So yeah, fair play to you guys because that was sick.
Cheers, dude.
First played it download. Who said that? Marianne. She's not wrong. It's first played it download, and it's the only song that we don't seem to have anywhere on video, I think, or have we?
I think it's on there, right?
Is it in the
What's that doing
archives?
there?
I thought the camera died or something at that point. I thought we all got pissed
maybe.
off that we didn't have it. But yeah, we did play it download for the first time ever, so that was pretty neat as well. So yeah, it's definitely one of the songs.
Cool, isn't it?
It's one of the songs that we, I think, it was one of those where when we did it, because it's so simple as well, like it's essentially just 3 chords all the way through. So it's like, I mean, it's really complicated, and we're all really good musicians, but
Yes.
it's a very, there's a very easy structure, and it was just like when we finished it, we sort of sat around in the room and we were listening back to it, and like Becky, our, she gets involved in a lot of our merch. She's always quite a good gauge, and she just
Shout
kind of
out,
sat there,
Becky.
like. She was sat doing some stuff.
She
I
could
can't
hear
remember
ya.
exactly what. She's upstairs.
Hello,
You're up
Becky!
there somewhere.
But she was doing some bits and pieces, and she just kind of sat there, and the song finished, and there was just this pause where like no one said anything, and then she just went, "Fuck yeah!" And I was like, "Yep, all right, that's another one, boys. Chalk it
Nice.
up. Let's go on to the next one." So
Talking
Yeah,
about on to
it's
the
a cool
next
song.
one, we've got an absolute Hulk Hogan of a track next. Incomplete.
Ooh.
mate, funny song. This song, man, for me anyway.
Go on. Why is it a funny song for you?
Like, so this song in my memory, and I might be wrong, but I'm relatively sure this was the last song we wrote for the album.
It could well have been.
And it was like
I know
we were
we
working
had the chorus for it was definitely around the same sort of time as Don't Wait For Me, because it was one of the, I think they were the 2 that we were like picked to work on.
It's just like when we were putting it together, like we were working on these 2 tunes, and like Incomplete, the chorus again, it's one of those things where I had the choruses and then not really a lot else. And with Incomplete, it was just kind of like we sat with Stu and we were like, "Stu, play a cool riff," and he was like, you know, fucked about for a bit, and then he was like, "What'd you think of this one?" And we were like, "Yeah, that's neat." So then we tracked it, and then it was like, "Right, play another cool riff," and he did, and then we sort of tracked it, and after like a couple of hours, we just had like a shitload of cool riffs. So we just started putting them together and it was like, all right, the chorus needs to go there, because that's why like all the riffs in it bang so hard. But like to me, when we first started putting it together, I was like, I just don't even know what to think about this song anymore, to be honest, because it's so many, it's like an absolute clusterfuck of riff basically. Like it was just bits and pieces of everything. But yeah, like so when we put the album out, I was just really like, oh, I really don't know how people are going to like vibe with this song. I don't know how people are going to enjoy it. And it seems to be kind of like I don't want to say unsung hero, but kind of like everyone seems to like really like this song. And it was something I was just really worried, thinking everyone would hate it, because it was such a sort of like odd path with all of the riffs and stuff. But yeah, it would appear that it has gone down relatively well. So thank you so much for being so nice to our little riff.
I love this
Riff,
little riff machine, and I found out a couple of weeks ago how high you hold it on this album, because when you were beating Trivium in the the most stressful moment of 2021 so far for me,
Don't, man.
to be the champions of tea in the prestigious Sunday Metal Sunday, watch it.
We did it!
Hello, Dav, who's working somewhere but watching. Yeah, I absolutely love this song, but I didn't expect you to sit it. So yeah, I loved it, and it absolutely went down like an absolute...
I think we were thinking, we were in 2 frames of mind with that. We were like, do we go Don't Wait For Me, and like sort of almost like tap out to Trivium, because it's like, we obviously love Don't Wait For Me, but like put that against Trivium is a total like it's.
I mean, it's just Trivium.
Totally
It's terrifying, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. But
and then we thought, I think, in the second thought was Incomplete, probably the heavier side. So I think Veins you picked. It was a great shout. It was right. It won us, didn't it? Whee!
by 1.
Officially better than
yeah.
Trivium.
Officially.
So, like,
Officially.
Trivium, if you'd like to come and like reclaim your prize, then please do DM us at the City's Ours UK.
Matt Heafy, if you want to be on a City's Ours track, you know, just message.
I mean, Matt, if you want to be
but-
on one of our tracks, man, yeah, that'd be sweet. Just let us know. We've got quite a hectic schedule at the moment. Because we've only written one song.
There's only one song, but I suppose he could do a cover of it, couldn't he?
He could
bad.
cover the
Could.
song, the
Yeah.
one song.
Could
Right.
cover that one song, yeah.
That one song he could cover.
Here is the absolute Blair fest that is incomplete. Enjoy. Oh, that riff.
Stu Mercer, baby. I'll just work here.
Can you text me now? Tell me everything you know. Stay with me now. And don't ever let me go. The parallels hang down. And never finding ways to take all that out hangs out. And with my heart I know I'll find everything I am. I owe to you.
I even get it wrong there. Get it wrong live, get it wrong here. This riff, boy. Let's do it,
That's
man.
the Stu Mercer.
That lead as well. Oh, Stuart.
Oh, yeah. Stuart took a trip to, like, Egypt or somewhere and just came back with this kind of fucking mad. Then another riff, just because why not? Decided to be a hardcore band for 16 bars.
How will I bring enough?
So many blares as well. Like, we just threw like 4 blares into this song.
Got a million questions, but the answers will always be incomplete. When will you see that we're not you will be incomplete? So won't you say that you stay with me incomplete? When will you see that we're not you will be incomplete? So won't you say that you stay with me?
Open up that fucking pit, bitches. Let's go.
Oh, it's so chunky. So much girth.
Well, we had to find the girth from somewhere, Johnny.
A lot of girth in that strong sausage.
Oh, shut up, Sam. Mad good. Stop it. So sick.
August Burns Red outro. I hear you, Stuart.
Mate, I just want to, like, as their bandmate and as their friend, I just want you, everyone, to just show some love for Stu and for Sam, because this song is literally all about those motherfuckers.
For sure.
Like, Jay,
We didn't really talk about what the Sam's about. What the Sam is about. What the song is about. And me and Sam sat down, and I think, was it all 3 of us we were there at that point in time? And we
I think so, yeah.
we all sat down, and Sam had these lyrics that I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying this. He had these lyrics about his parents, basically. They were moving quite far away from him, and he's always been very close with his parents, and obviously it's almost like he had to fly the nest, and I think it sort of made him question loads of different things. Question sort of how will he be when they're not here, there, and in general life, how will it be when they're not here? I think it's a very hard thing, especially when you are so close with your family, like I know he is. It's I think it was very difficult for him, and that's sort of what the song's about, and how we helped him sort of like mold the whole track into that. And that's why it's like incomplete. Can't you say that I'll be incomplete without you?
Yeah, man. But we definitely need to talk about how like imposing and incredible as like an abrasive vocalist Sam is on that track.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
He literally rock bottoms and then does the Ric Flair dance and then. So
Woo!
I've noticed there's a lot of wrestling thingies coming from me tonight. I don't know why, but that's just how good this album is.
Maybe we should try that, Jay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should. I do like a bit of the wrestling.
Oh,
Real wrestling!
Real wrestling.
Who doesn't? Oh, I've just looked what's up next. This one is it's another boppy boy. If you know, you know. And if you know, you know about if you know, you know, then you know. About if
Then
you
you
know,
know.
you know.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Oh, we've got to talk about it, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
I thought-
When you're ready, boys.
I just.
What do
I
we
just feel
say
like-
about this track, man?
I mean, for me, like I remember where I was when I was writing the lyrics for this as well, and I was in my friend's kitchen, and being in a band is like it's a weird roller coaster of emotions, because like you get the like supreme highs and you get like the mad lows, and it's always difficult like to be in a situation where you're seeing other people, largely your peers most of the time, doing well. And at the time, like this was written, I don't know, like summer 2018, I reckon, probably, like, but maybe even before that. So like,
Yeah.
it was kind of this whole thing of there was a particular situation where something had happened, and like our friends had been given an opportunity essentially, and I was like, so it's this weird like emotional gauge of like you're so fucking gassed that your friend is getting the chance to do this thing, and it's amazing that they're getting, you know, that opportunity, but at the same time, as a member of a band, there's always a little bit of you that's kind of like, oh man, I wish I could do that, or I wish, like, I hope we get the chance to do that when because you get the peaks and troughs of like album releasing as well. Like, obviously when you're releasing an album and you're like riding that wave, then obviously you're getting a lot more kind of, I don't know if attention's the right word, but like there's a lot more happening around what you're doing
Traction,
creatively. Yeah. And then obviously it dips down a bit when you go away to write other music, or, you know, whatever it is that you're doing in that creative vein. And it was kind of like for me, sort of sitting there writing, like seeing all these people going, oh dude, this is so sick. And obviously myself and the rest of the guys included, like, yeah, this is so rad getting to see our friends doing all this cool shit, but like I wish you could see what we were working on. And I guess that's where the kind of the idea, I remember when I said to the guys, I think we should call it If You Know, You Know. And it was like, I can't remember what the working title was before, but we had I don't know if an argument about it, but we had like a little dispute about it, didn't we? Because it was going to be called something else before. And it was like, I think it should be called this, obviously based around the lyrics, but like, because it is that whole kind of vibe of like, you can't, you know, you won't see it coming. And like, if you knew what was happening, you'd be saying these things, like, or we would hope you'd be saying these things about us too. And that was part of the reason that when we dropped it as like a surprise single as well, because it was very much a case of going, we'd just done Don't Wait For Me a week before. We just dropped it out of the blue because it was like this big aggressive track, and it was us sort of going, look, we're here. We're not here to kind of, you know, we're not here to mess about. We're here to sort of get involved and be part of this scene. And the music scene in the UK is so fucking dope. And there's so many cool bands out there at the moment, and it's just gotten stronger and stronger as well. Like we just wanted to make sure that we didn't get kind of forgotten. And that's how I was sort of like writing it. And in hindsight, obviously, like at the time, it wasn't something to kind of really, you know, get too hung up on, but it was kind of like this positive version of us going, look, yeah, we've got all these things going on, but just wait till you hear it, basically. And that was kind of why we went down the route that we did. And it's, you know, just a big sort of neck snapper and lots of Sam doing his thing. Not really much of me on it, because it was very much a case of just bang your heads and let's get lit. So it was, yeah. It's just a fun song. I think it's probably arguably the most fun on the album.
Yeah, I think it was the one as well. When we recorded the whole album, I remember us listening back to it and not being entirely sold on it. Do you know what I mean? I think all of us were like, yeah, you know, it's like take it or leave it. And then we played it to so many people, and so many people, like before we released it, said that it was their favourite. I think management as well said it was one of their favourites, and we were just like, oh, okay. That's cool.
I do remember a funny conversation where I was like, I don't think it should go on the album, and this is true. I was like, I don't think it should go on the album, and I just remember Jay turning around to me and just being like, "You fucking wrote it, dude." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I did, but I essentially think it's shit." And I mean, hopefully it's not shit because everyone
Marianne has just put best track.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So definitely thought it was the best track. I remember that.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's just a big
Yeah,
riff.
it's a real
big
good
neck
live
snapper.
track.
Let's jump up and down. Let's bang our heads and let's have it. Like, it's probably the only positive relief, I guess, throughout the record. I suppose in some weird way. I mean, it's not that positive, but in terms
It's
of
not.
when you look at the 11 songs, I suppose it's probably
It's
the most positive out of all of them. So everyone, put your happy faces on because we're about to listen to "If You Know, You Know," and this is the happy song, and you will enjoy it. Okay.
Enjoy.
Jay, I've just seen your comments as Stu.
You see my comments back to about music, waiting on music.
That comment is a bit.
Thank fuck we've only got one song, eh? Fuck me.
That's true.
Frustrated, I'm overworked, feeling underrated. Stick to my guns, though I only trust me. Conceal my veil of eroded issues. Breaking down the walls and we'll just continue. I'll make my own way on paths that I made. Keep the faith, we're not done yet. Put your substance to the test. You're not
My name is Terence Hampshire.
Cheers, Jody.
Oh, it's that cool like synth thing that Oz made.
Oh yeah.
The background.
Did Ludog not make this?
That cool synth thing that Ludog made.
Go on, Michael. You own some.
It's been so long since we played a gig, I'm not even sure it's in the tank anymore. We're going to be so disappointed. Ooh.
It worked when we recorded that one song, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
I suppose you're right. Down now. Down now. Down now.
Bam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. What an album, though, boys. What an album.
Thank you, my dude.
Thanks, dude. It really does.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
jokes
my
aside,
best
it means
not
the world.
to do another wrestling.
Mate,
But
keep it coming.
This is the big show of metalcore albums.
We're all wrestling fans here.
What the Big Show like sticks around for a little while and ends up doing shit kids TV.
Good money in kids' TV, mate.
There is.
Oh,
Well, he's a proper wrestler now. He's back on AEW. Don't start on the Big Show, Paul White.
he's not called the Big
No,
Show
but it's the
anymore.
same guy.
Isn't he literally just called Paul now?
It's Paul White, yeah.
Love it.
Paul. I'm Paul.
And his T-shirt says something like "No BS," as in like Big Show, but
Nice. I like it.
It's great banter, to be fair.
great bands.
Shout out to everyone who doesn't like wrestling. Sorry for just wasting the last 30 seconds of his time.
I think most people that come to these streams, especially with all the communities that we have coming to our streams, we all love wrestling. It's just great.
Yeah, boy.
It's just great. Get a pint, watch wrestling. Great time every time.
Good fun. Good fun.
Right, boys.
Yeah,
we're on
it's
to,
not always a great time, is it? Let's be real. It's Vince
I mean,
McMahon, but
I mean,
talk about
sometimes,
that
sometimes a disappointment time as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And thinking, what the hell have you done, Vince? We're on to the heavy final 2 tracks, and I don't mean heavy that way. I mean, it's strong sausage time again.
Strong sauce.
So Sacred.
oh man, sacred. Sacred. I remember Sacred. I remember writing Sacred in the room while we were demoing something else. Do you remember that?
That's what I like. I've got a few notes just like of things that I remembered, and yeah, I basically in my notes have said I didn't have much to do with the writing process of this one, to be honest, because I was recording drums, and when we came out, this song was written.
It's pretty much. I sat in the corner of the room, literally behind Jay, where you can see now where that sofa is. I sat there with my station set up, and Jay was tracking drums for something else. And then he was like, "What do you think of this?" And I was a bit like, "What do you think of this?" Because it was sort of like just had this idea, so just started demoing it, and it was really kind of I don't think any of us in our band are particularly religious people, and it's not really something we've particularly explored before or since. I don't think really, but like it was just the idea of, for me, what like if with all the bad stuff that was happening around us, and ironically this was one of the first songs we wrote for the album as well. It was one of those first 4, but it was like with all of the bad stuff that's happening around us and the bad stuff that's happening in the world, I was kind of like not so much going there isn't a God, or I don't believe in it, or anything like that, because at the end of the day I'm one of those people that's very much like people should be allowed to do what they want to do in all walks of life, what they want to do in terms of hobbies or how they spend their time or sexuality or religion or any of those things. It's like I don't really, as long as it's not directly hurting me or anybody else, I don't really give a rat's ass what people do, frankly. Like, as long as they're happy and everyone's kind of chill, like that's basically my ethos on it. But I was kind of questioning the whole thought of, there's people that are, people we love getting ill and passing away. There's people that, we have seen on this is a pre-COVID world obviously as well, but like there's getting ill and children getting cancer and shit like that, and there was just this anger in me where I was kind of like, what the fuck is this, basically? It's like if everything is so great and everything is so kind of rosy and there's this one being kind of overlooking everything, then why the fuck is he allowing or she allowing this to happen to us, essentially? And that was kind of where the song came from. And it's like, that idea of like, how can they be sacred if they're allowing this to happen, and yeah, it was just kind of an idea, because it's probably the only time really I can think in my experience where it is an idea. I was saying earlier about how we don't really write about a particular subject matter as a subject matter. It's usually something that's happened to us that we turn into a song, but this really is kind of contradicting that, because it is kind of a thought process of me actively having gone, I'm looking at things that are happening around me rather than something that's happened directly to me necessarily, and questioning that concept and that principle. And that's kind of where the song came from. So yeah, and we put it together, and we were sort of looking at experimenting with slightly heavier sounds and riffs. And I think when we were recording this in the studio with Oz, and I think it was me, Jay, Stu, and Oz were all there at the same time. Oz Cragg, shout out to him, by the way, Hidden Track Studios.
Oh, what a boy!
Absolute diamond, man. I don't know, Jay, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, he's recorded everything we've done for one, and especially over this past year, I think like when we went into the studio with him, 4 or 5 years ago, it was great. We all got on so well, but I don't think like we thought at this point in time we'd be as close as we all are. And I know like I don't know if he's watching or anything, but this past year we've all had different things go on and bad times, and he's always been there at the other end of the phone. He's just become such a good friend, and that's more important. But obviously he makes the music sound great in our opinion. He's just the best guy.
Just a great dude. But that being said, I think it was late. I think I'll take the blame for this one as well. I don't think it's really fair to blame anybody else.
That being said,
I fucked with him hard on this because it was like essentially every riff was different, but within a space of like 16 bars. So he'd be like, "Oh right, so this is now the same as that," and I was like, "No, dude, like it's this," and it would be like one beat was the other way round, or there was a couple of inversions in there and stuff like that, and it was just such a. I just remember we all got in a bit of a weird place with it, didn't we? Because it was just like every time I said he was like, "So, oh no, I've got it now. It's this," and it was like, "No, dude, like it's not that." It's and yeah, I just remember at one point just being face down on the floor of the studio, just like literally staring at the floor, like it just got fucking weird. Like it's a cool memory.
We're all like delirious by the end of it. It was a late night and it was a long day.
Yeah, we were tracking. Bear in mind, this is like probably 11:30 at night, trying to track these guitars, and it was just like, it just wasn't happening, and it was really funny. We laughed a lot about it, but also kind of like just very frustrating. But yeah, I think the song that came out of it, it's a heavy, honest account, but also asking lots of questions. And like I said, it's not a fuck religion, fuck this, fuck that, whatever. It's very much a case of going, look, I just don't understand this. I don't get this concept. I don't understand why these bad things would be happening to people. If everything was as rosy as this idea suggests, then why is this happening? And it's much more of a question than an answer. So, I mean, hopefully it comes across like that and doesn't come across as too aggressive in that particular motion.
Not at all, mate. Any questions for the boys? Keep them coming. This is sacred.
This section. This was the section where I was just like delirious as fuck.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, it sounds good though, doesn't it? on, Stu Mercer.
Go on, Stu. Here we go.
Oh, baby.
Woo!
What a tune.
Again, man. Thank you, dude. It's been so long since I've heard any of these songs like properly. I totally forgot about the outro like altogether with Stu's banging solo. I was like, oh shit, that's how this song finishes.
I really love like doing these deep dives because obviously not everybody, well, like not many guys and bands listen to their own music. So like,
Yeah.
Like I did a deep dive with Dad with Portraits and he hadn't heard the songs for a decade or some shit like that. It was,
Oh man.
It's a really cool thing for like to see you guys remember like the little things that you created that still like get you stoked to hear. I think it's amazing. Last track. So just for everybody being very kind, saying how much this is the best deep dive of JMR. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it too, man.
And you want us to start from the start and go again? We won't do that, but I'll tell you what we will do. We will listen to Violent and have a little chat about that. Yeah. So, boys, to
one
finish,
song.
Just the one song.
Just the one song.
Hear It All.
Yeah.
Fill your boots, fam. I'm out. Thanks for coming, everyone. See you later.
I guess Mikey was saying about Now That You're Gone being sort of his song, about that sort of thing. Here It All is sort of, I guess, similarly vibed. It's sort of my response to a lot of things that have happened. For those of you who like don't know me other than the band or things like that, not long before I joined City, my mum passed away from cancer. And this is basically just me trying to deal with it. It's a song that I basically wrote, and it was just trying to sort of there's so many songs about people that die and that you miss, but I just feel like a lot of them don't cover the small things. So it's just like, for me, it's about things like you go to pick up the phone and you go to call someone and you just forget that they're not there. And it's just horrible. It's things like that, and it's the beginning of you get to a certain point and you forget how someone sounds or how someone just looks, and it's just this emptiness, this feeling of loneliness, and I just sort of wanted to get that into a song, and Mikey played me these sort of instrumental for it. I felt like it had a real cool, like, decadesy sort of sound to it, and I was just like, yeah, this is the one. So I sort of went away, and it's just like so many people have lost someone, and it fucking sucks. And it's just I felt like it was the perfect way to end the album, just to say, you might feel alone. I feel alone a lot of the time with it, but we're not alone, because hopefully people can relate to the song. And that's really what it's about.
Shout out to you. Love you, mate.
Love you too, dude.
You don't ever not amaze me. You're an absolute hero, and I think...
you too, man.
Massively proud of you and all you boys. This is Hear It All, and then we'll get on to the new only one song time. It's Hear It All.
One song.
Your voice these days
got a lot, but for one moment with you, I'd give it up. I forget, you can catch my fall. I forget, you can hear my call. Now if I go weak, you can save me. I forget, you're not here. I miss you singing our songs at the top of your lungs. How you had my back, even when I was wrong. Now it's been 5 years, but it still makes me to tears. I gotta call your phone and forget that you're not here. I've got a lot, but it ain't worth shit without you. With you, I give it up. I would give it up. I forget, you can catch my fall. I forget, you can hear my call. Now if I go weak, you can save me. I forget, you're not here alone. Throughout the flowers, got to keep my own cause, 'cause it reminds me of the time I lived without these scars. Time it is, but I swear it's not past, because these words of friendship feels like they will always last. What really kills me when I think of you, I only ever see you in the hospital room, or you do, but the cancer didn't just like you. It killed my memories too. I forget, you can catch my fall. I forget, you can hear my call. Now if I go weak, you can save me. I forget, you're not here alone. You're not here alone. Now if I go weak, you can save me. You can catch my fall. You can hear my call. Now if I go weak, you can save me.
Shout out to my absolute boys. That was the deep dive of Low and Full.
We got through it.
Mate,
What an album. What an album.
didn't even cry. Didn't
No,
even cry
no,
once.
so close. We did it, boy.
It's,
We made it. Well done, man.
Incredible piece of music. I can't thank you enough, boys, for
Oh,
coming
mate,
on. And
thank you so
Cheers
You-
for supporting us so much, man. Like, it's so appreciated.
Always and forever, you know that.
Much love, man.
So let's get on to the exciting new era of the one song "City Is Ours."
New era, one song per year.
You've only got one song.
You've only
got one song.
You've done it now. That's what we're all gonna.
You've only got one song. Yeah, I hope you're all ready to hear us play this 8 times in a row.
I hope
at
you're
live
ready
shows.
to pre-order their one song album
Yeah,
and all the bundles.
What's an album? Don't know what you're talking about, mate.
I've
Don't
never
know.
heard of it.
Don't know what you're talking about.
So obviously, sadly but for himself, Sam stepped down. And can you maybe, firstly, actually, which like I still don't think's been truly like acknowledge how fucking cool it is. You're on board with a rising empire. What a fucking
Mate.
huge. I mean, the bands on with those guys are absolutely incredible. Like Novelists, just to name one. Like just Aviana.
Mate, it was just the big one for me. Like when we got approached by those guys, like obviously the whole label thing and everything else, it's always like to sign a deal, and like the way that the world is at the moment, it's like, you know, we've done all right on our own basically. So it was kind of like, if the deal was, you know, if we were going to sign a deal, it had to be like the right deal. And as soon as we spoke to those guys, we were just like, they just get it. Do you know what I mean? They just understand what we're trying to do here. And you know, we had some, well, I had some ambitious ideas about how we were going to do some things, and I had a lot of convincing for a lot of different people. I think Jay included, to be honest, at times. But yeah, the AE guys have been banging, and you know, just been such a wonderful group of people to work with. So far, I mean, obviously we're only got one song, so we'll see how they, you know, what happens in the future. But you know, they've been great with us, and yeah, it's just been a really good bunch of dudes to work with, and like, you know, they've got, again, like you said, such a rad roster. I mean, you know, Anna's okay. Future Palace, I think, are on there any given day. Landmarks was the big one for me, because I fucking love that band so much. And I remember their first album, showing Jay their first album.
So good.
Literally in that room where Jay sat right now, being like, "Have you heard this band? Like, they're so sick." And now, like, to be on the same label and amongst bands like that, it's just super cool, really. But yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's just been a really nice thing to happen. So thank you to those guys, obviously, for believing in what we're about and what we're doing. Our one song.
Yeah, I really loved that one song.
Yeah,
they loved it. They're like, we're gonna invest in this one song.
They were like, that one song you got there, boys, is so good. We're gonna sign you on that one song. And we're like, thanks.
And then
thanks,
they
guys.
just hashtag one song band, and that was it.
Exactly.
You only got one song.
So, let's really quickly just touch on getting Ollie D on board, which I think anybody that's kind of, you know, Team TCIO and been around, like, or any of the Down for Life stuff as well, he is just an absolute legend, living legend of musical.
That he is.
And so it was such like incredible news to see him
jump
on board as well. What was that conversation like?
So should we go back to the beginning, because I think on the live stream the other day, OD said something about like Sam leaving ages ago, and I think we kept it quite quiet because we were still like working on things behind the scene. Obviously, COVID happened, so we didn't really know what we were gonna do. Sam left, and we thought if we say Sam's out the band, it's gonna be X, Y, and Z amount of time before we can do anything anyway, because we sort of, Sam sat us down. Obviously, we talked about all the issues he's facing, and we all sympathise. We all, as you've seen from the last couple of hours, no one's perfect. No one's free from troubles. So we understood. Was it difficult? Yeah, it was fucking horrible. I love Sam as a person, and there's just something about Sam when he plays live where he just when he's in a good show, he commands the stage, and everyone's eyes are on him. And I do think it's a shame, and I hope he does something in the future. I really do, because he's so talented, and we're all remained really good friends. A lot of you probably would have seen him supporting when Violent came out. He's just a great guy, and but yeah, so he sat us down, and we couldn't figure out a way forward with him. He didn't want to continue, so we had to accept that. And I think, well, Mikey, you might as well say about the OD stuff, because that sort of you instigated in a way.
Yeah, so for those people that don't know, like, obviously Ollie is an amazing photographer and videographer in his own right, and he works with lots of bands, and has worked with lots of bands over the years, but he works with Our Hollow Our Home, who are obviously our boys, and so do I. So I sort of backline tech for those guys, and he's their photographer. So we've toured together a lot over the years, like, you know, with our bands crossing over, me working with them and stuff. And I was actually, the day after Sam had sat us down and had that conversation, I was actually with Ollie at a video shoot for somebody else. And I sort of said to him there, sort of told him what happened, because obviously we're good friends anyway, so we were keeping it very quiet, but told him what happened. And we all knew that Ollie had like a sort of a vocal in the locker almost. We'd seen him on tour a few times. He would do a particular feature vocal on, I think it's normally Lone Shark he does it on, but yeah, sometimes he just get up and do vocals on that track with Hollow and stuff. So we'd seen him do some bits and pieces, and we were chatting outside and just talking about what happened, and I was sort of explaining. Obviously it was very raw, and I just sort of literally as a joke just kind of said, "Oh, haha, want a job?" And he sort of laughed it off, and that was it. And then later that night he sent me a message and was like, "Oh, were you being serious?" And I was kind of like, are you being serious? Like, I don't know, like, I don't know if anyone's told you, Ollie, but you're
playing chicken.
Like, and it's like, it's okay. And he was like, I'd be up for kind of giving it a go. And like, for those of you that know Ollie, like he is like one of the nicest people I've ever met in my whole life. So it was very kind of like, we had a bit of a joke about it, and he was very sort of like cautious and sort of timid with it. And we were like, yeah, look, I spoke to Jay and I spoke to the boys, and was kind of like, look, Ollie's kind of expressed an interest in sort of giving it a go. And I don't really know if any of us really knew what to expect, but like, it's funny. Obviously, we're now deep diving this album. We sat down. We went to Jay's house to track some stuff where his studio is and stuff. And he went in the booth, and I just never forget. I sat on that sofa that you can see behind, and Jay was sat in front of that big TV screen on the wall. And Ollie went in the booth, and the intro to Casket started, and Ollie just started screaming, and I legitimately like fell off my chair. I was just like,
yeah,
oh my God, like how, you know, what is happening? Like, this guy has just got this ridiculous vocal that nobody really knew kind of was there really. So it just turned into this sort of this bonkers thing of just going, okay. And then we tried something else, and it went on, and we were just sort of working out what we were going to do. And ironically, we were in the studio recording the one song not long after. That was part of the whole thing that happened with Sam. It was sort of like he decided to walk away before we went and tracked the single and stuff. So it was kind of like we didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And Ollie was kind of scheduled to be coming to photograph the studio stuff anyway. So he was there, and he'd heard the tune, and it all just kind of very organically just sort of fell into place, really. So we were just kind of, I think we've been incredibly lucky to have been through as many member changes as we have, because this is pretty much like the third, like the only two original members from the original sort of 5 of City is now myself and Jay. Like, all 3 of the other guys have swapped in and out. So we've been really lucky. Like, Stu was teching for us beforehand. He's been a friend of the band for a long time. So when George left, we just essentially offered Stu the gig. I think we were playing O2 Islington about 6 days later or something.
Yeah, it was like, his first gig.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I'd love to be part of the band. And we were like, right, you've got 6 days to learn the set. Let's go. So it was very threw him in at the deep end with that. When Connor left, we put an ad out online. We found Louis, and literally straight away, first time around, like there was no stress. And then with Ollie, it was just so simple. Like, you know, he came in, his dynamic, his demeanor as a human, it's just like, he's just such a wonderful dude.
Truly,
and it just worked. Like, it just worked so well. And it was, for us, you know, we knew that Sam leaving was going to be such a massive thing and a massive ordeal for us and for him and for anyone coming in his place and for our fan base and all of these things. It was such a huge change. And then I guess that was kind of where, like, my brain started ticking a little bit, I think, ahead of everybody else, because I was sort of like, we've got something here, boys, you know, like, we've got something we can play with. And it just started, like, I remember trying to, essentially, Sam left the band just over a year ago. Ollie joined the band probably just under a year ago. We released new music for the first time last week. So it was like getting that process together, keeping that process secret, figuring out how we were going to do it, like, you know, creating the visuals, creating the campaign, giving this whole kind of, you know, speculation started online when we announced Sam was leaving the band, that we were going to break up. And I will say this now categorically, we did not start that rumor, but you open a can of worms like that,
we ran with it.
I'm gonna play. So I went to work really and just sort of said, look, we're going to do this. And the whole thing for us was kind of going in our smaller circle, because this is about a much bigger thing, but in our smaller circle, everyone knows Ollie, everyone loves Ollie. No one saw it coming. Like, that was the thing. It was like, no one expected Ollie to be the missing piece of the puzzle, I suppose. So when we were there and, you know, we were going through it, I had a conversation with the band and I was like, look, this is what I think could be cool. And, you know, we discussed ideas and we tweaked some stuff, but I think there was a bit of resistance from the band initially. And then when we talked about it, we kind of got it all ironed out. Then we went to our management and we spoke to our management and we said, this is what we want to do. And it was exactly the same conversation again, because they really didn't want us to just ultimately announce a member of the band by dropping a single. It was like such a gamble. And they really didn't want us to do that initially. And we had a big conversation about, like, honestly, this is going to work, you know, like you've got to let us do it. And we got them on board with it. And then we signed with Horizon Empire, and that was amazing. And then we sat down with them and we told them what we wanted to do, and they didn't like it either. So it was such an ordeal, because everyone close to us and everyone that was part of our team on the surface basically just didn't fuck with the idea. And I was so adamant that, like, I promise you this is going to work. Like, you know, we'll put it together, and it's such a, you know, we're never going to get a chance like this again to build something from, like, promotion wise in this way. And then, like, obviously I'd been like I've been very vocal about it internally with the rest of the team. I'd been very kind of like, trust me, and everyone has been great and sort of gone, yeah, you know, and got on board with the idea eventually. And then it got to the day of or the day before the release, and I absolutely shit myself, because I was like, if this goes tits up, everyone's coming for me, you know. Like, it's like I've pushed this idea so hard, and everyone's worked so hard on it as well, because that's the other thing, is it's been such a collaborative effort, with Stu's taken on all of the sort of mailing lists and the digital marketing side of stuff, and, you know, Jay's been really involved in organizing the merch campaign that we're doing. Louis created all the soundscapes, Stu was dealing with the website stuff, Ollie's been making all the visuals. Like, it's been such a huge collaborative effort. It was like, if this goes tits up because of a decision that I made, or, you know, I put on the table in the first place, more so, you know, it was a group call in the end, but, like, if it goes wrong, what do we do, sort of thing. And thankfully we released the song pretty much this time last week, basically, wasn't it?
Last Thursday, was it?
Just over a week,
Thursday evening, yeah. And it's been wild. Like, the reception's been insane, and it's just been so exciting and invigorating to put something fresh out. And obviously we love the Low album, and it's very much a part of who we are, and, you know, it will always be our first baby, essentially. Obviously, other than, you know, the EPs have got their own little special places too, but in terms of the first full length, the first thing where we really decided, look, we're going to put our hearts on our sleeves. But this is like a whole different kettle of fish, really. You know, we just wanted to take the Low album and turn it up to, amp everything up to 11 for whatever was to come. And you know, Violent is the embodiment of that, really. So it's it's just been really exciting, and obviously great for Ollie as well to see everyone giving him so much love. And, you know, it could have gone either way, really. Like, you know, when you replace the vocalist in a band, it's the identity of that band will change. Like, there's no two ways about that, and we were aware of that. And, you know, obviously we're quite lucky that we have two vocalists to sort of maintain that identity to a degree. So there is an element of that familiarity, but equally it was like, how can we use this to our advantage, and something that's going to be different? And, you know, if we're going to get a chance to change it up a little bit, then, you know, we're not going to get a chance like this again. So let's see what happens. And Violence basically the embodiment of that. So hopefully it's
the outcome of Mikey Page Gold. All of that worry.
It's not, hey man, it's a team effort. Like, it's been, that's the thing that's been so awesome about this, is we've always been a collaborative band, and we've always worked together. And, like, you know, it was my brainchild in a lot of ways, but the way that everyone got on board with it, and the way that we utilized everyone's skill sets is, I think, probably the first time we've ever really had, like, all 5 members of the band and our team, and obviously the label, and everyone kind of pushing in the same direction, but with their own different things. And it's just been such a refreshing kind of way of working, and it's something new for us, and hopefully, you know, long may that continue, because it's been a lot of fun and
I think as time goes on, we become more and more collaborative, and we all get involved, and I think that's evident through Violent, the one song we have.
Absolutely. Everybody, this is what you've been waiting for. It's the one song era. This is Violent.
the one song era.
What a voice that OD has.
He's a special boy, that was for sure.
OD's vocals here.
Stop that, Ollie, stop that. Oh man, just imagine the pits.
Oh,
He's throwing hands.
Serenaders Michael.
Yeah, go on, Mikey.
Go on, boy.
No one wants this after 3 beers, man.
There you go. This part.
Still master side teeth.
You leave my teeth out of this motherfucker.
The boys. The boys.
What a night. What a night.
Boys, I mean, you know how much I love you. I can't really... I
Love you too, man.
I can't really put it into words. So boys, for anybody that wishes to get any merch or support you after, what can they do? What merch have you got? Have you still got that tasty t-shirt for sale?
We still have that tasty t-shirt for pre-order at the moment. I think it's been ordered, like either been ordered or being ordered soon, so it will be with us in about a week or so time, dependent on obviously our provider. So you got a little bit of time. I don't think there's many left at all. Mikey, I'm trying to think.
I don't know. There's not many. I mean, we had an initial batch that we sent out in advance, and we weren't really expecting to sell them all out, because we were like, oh, we'll keep some and then put them up. And unfortunately, they sold out. Well, I say unfortunately, they sold out within a few, like a little while, as in like that day. So it was pretty mental. You all right there, mate?
Yeah, sorry, just disconnected for a second for some reason.
He's back. Ravenclaw, we do have a link.
Good.
Mars just put
I
it
wanted
there.
to be on top.
So, like the
Yeah,
boys said,
so-
I've been with them since the start, and I don't think I've ever seen any merch go this quick. So,
No,
if-
it's been.
if you want
it's
the
been
Violent
wild.
shirt, click that link and get it pre-ordered.
Yeah. So www.TheCityIsOurs.co.uk is our main official store. You can go there for any merch. Obviously, if you go to follow us on all social media platforms, we are the City Is Ours UK on everything pretty much. We're on Facebook, obviously, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, we are on Twitch too, but that's still a bit of a work in progress. We're on TikTok. We're also now on TikTok, but we're quite old, so we don't really understand TikTok or Twitch.
Can your first TikTok be a proper high-quality version of the in low?
Oh, that's a good point. Can we just clip this? We clip us all doing it.
I think somebody. I tell you what. Should we just do the intro to low and somebody clip it?
Okay, let's do it.
Right,
Everyone
I need
together.
to remember to go about 0.5 of a second sooner with the slight delay to be in time with you boys. It's gonna be fun. This is the end of the stream you all envisioned, isn't it? Here we go.
Let's do it, guys. Ramp it up.
Oh no! I didn't get the stream and it didn't come up the sound. You all started doing
It's all right.
Me. I was like, what's going on?
We're gonna go again. We're gonna go again.
I didn't click it. Oh my bad.
fine.
Johnny said a really high quality version of this, and that's what you got.
Well,
So
we're gonna have one more attempt. Here we go, boys. Jay,
Oh, that's it. One more. I'm on now. Yeah, I'm on.
Here we go. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not
yes,
gonna lie.
guys! Yes, dude!
Well
Love the
done.
comments. Everyone, blah, 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 in the comments. I rate it.
Perfect, boys. I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and giving.
Thanks for having us, dude. Seriously.
Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
great.
And if you're in the chat, thank you so much for supporting
Yeah.
Johnny. Johnny's been a massive supporter of our band since.
And so many bands as well.
Yeah, for a long time, and obviously a huge supporter of the scene. So he is on the road to 1,000 followers. So please
let's get in there.
get in touch, get him following, go and follow him, go and follow us, and let's get him to 1,000 followers. And you know, we might be doing some other things, when we decide to write more than one song. So
We only have
an eye on
one song.
keep an eye on our socials and stuff, and we'll see you out there, man. It's been so great, Johnny. Thank you so much for having us, man. It's been awesome.
Pleasure, boys. Love you lot. See you later, everyone. Bye bye.